Hi, Ashlie.
Hey.
Why do you run?
That's a real good question. I think I run because it gives me confidence that I can't find anywhere else in my life. I think it makes me feel really free, and it challenges me in a way that 38 years of my life has never brought. And I love adventure, and I love trying things that I think I might fail at and then seeing what happens and maybe failing, but also maybe succeeding and maybe also discovering a whole different side of myself in the process.
Yeah. How did you find running?
A bit of a story. So I'm from California.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband and I were high school sweethearts.
Awesome.
Got married at the ripe age of 20 and 21.
Wow.
Yeah, and moved away promptly after he was doing grad school in North Carolina at Duke.
Okay.
So we packed up our tiny Tercel and moved across the country.
That's crazy.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I've tell people this, but it was the year, this is going to age me or date me, the year that the Subway $5 footlong became a thing.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. I don't know if you've been to Subway recently,
Do they
but
still have it?
No, it's like,
It's like $10.
$12 or something. Because
Inflation.
I remember that when I was a kid, we would go to Walmart and
Yeah.
get a $5 footlong.
Inflation.
I ate like a freaking horse because I was a little boy, and so my mom would just stuff
A
$5
footlong.
footlongs in front of me.
We ate them the whole drive there because it was the only thing we could afford.
Yeah.
We had no money. And again, we were driving Tercel that had already driven to and from cross the country several times. It was a hand-me-down from my oldest sister and her husband. So anyways, we moved to North Carolina. Matt's in school at Duke. And that was kind of our first adventure. And I was nannying to kind of provide while he was in school. And towards the end of his school, so 3 years in, I started working out to get in shape. Let's do some running. There's a trail there. It was well before I discovered trail running, but we thought it was super technical and challenging. It was a really cute little loop. It'd be like doing the Vulcan Trail.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but it was awesome. We kind of just had fun hanging out. Fast forward to he and I both moved to Ohio, where he did his doctorate in physical therapy, and I was still working as a nanny full time, and he was very busy. So I was like, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Let's run. Let's get in shape. And that quickly became something that I think really I identified as well, I run. This is fun. Let's do a marathon. Let's do what can I do to fill my time?
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I think it quickly turned into probably too much of an obsession.
Yeah.
It was I would leave work and I would go just run. Had nothing else to do. I wasn't in school, so he had a lot of other things he had to do. And we did a lot together, but we didn't have a great community outside of the family I was nannying, who is my family. So anyways, squeezed everything into running, and it became who I was. And then that followed probably not a great pattern of disordered eating in the process. So I think there was a bit of there's a learning curve. You want to eat healthy because you're moving, and then you're moving, and so then you're seeing progress in that. So went down kind of a rough patch with how that evolved over time. And that went on pretty much the whole time we were in Ohio. I would just kind of go into my own little zone. I'm really good, I told you a few minutes ago, really good at rule following. So I would set these little rules for myself, and I would live by them. we did have church community and like we did have friends, but other than that, it was just I looked forward to going for long runs and testing out what I could do. Did some marathons, again, half marathons, and thought this was what I was going to do forever. Just rode marathons and really loved it.
Did you think about making it like becoming a professional runner?
No, I'm not that good.
Really?
Not even close.
Really?
Not even close. No. And it was all roads. Like,
Okay.
it was just like, well, actually, if I'm being honest, what happens is as I'm training, I'm like getting better. And then as I restrict my diet, my calories, it's like you're getting way worse.
Right.
Because you're not fueling yourself. And now, 12, 13, 15 years later, I think there's a lot more information about that.
Right.
But it was just like, you should look a certain way. You should, eat a certain way. So I think that was a big spiral.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked to my friends about it, some family, but it's definitely not like something I like have, said to a lot of people. Matt knows. Because we didn't have a lot of people to talk to about it. I just kind of did my thing. All my family is in California or elsewhere. So we were just our own little unit. And I guess long and short of it is there came a time where, bones were breaking and it wasn't good anymore, Not literally stress fracture on stress fracture on stress fracture. It was like, well,
just from
really working.
not being fully fueled
just
correctly.
You're not taking care of your body.
Yeah.
Matt's a PT or like is by education.
Right.
He's in research now. So he would try to fix me and I would just be like, I'm running too much. I probably should take a break. And I knew it wasn't the running. It was just like how I was taking care of my body. So I think there was a point that I realized like if I don't change something, I'm not going to be able to run. So I have to decide what's more important, like how I look or how I perceive the way I look, or running. And it was about that time that we found out we were pregnant with Finn. Okay. And it kind of reset my body and my mind because it was like, oh, shoot, one, I'm not going to be able to do this if I'm not taking care of myself. Also, I've got this little thing growing inside of me and I need to fuel my body to take care of him. Found out I was pregnant like 2 weeks before I was getting ready to do the Cincinnati Marathon, Flying Pig. Did that. And then trained through my whole pregnancy, continued running till basically the day we induced labor.
What's that like? I know that I'll never be able to understand, but like...
You get a lot of funny looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't think I've ever seen a running pregnant woman. I've seen pregnant women at the gym.
They're around. It was great. My doctor was very supportive. She's like, do whatever feels good until it doesn't feel good. And it would be like midsummer and I'd be like sweating in a sports bra and people were probably like, this woman is hurting herself. I wasn't. I was happy. It was great.
Yeah.
It was the happiest I've probably ever been running because it was like I finally felt a little bit, I don't know if healed is the right word, but I felt like I was like running for a better purpose and just like, this is what I should be doing because I feel like this is what runners do. It's how they look. Anyways, had Finn, started running immediately after I got clearance again. Body was still not ready to do that. Still had like a bunch of injuries that I was dealing with because funny enough, when you don't feel yourself, your bones don't just heal overnight. They take a lot of time to recover. So that process, along with becoming a new parent, and like we at that time were getting ready to move to Birmingham. I knew nothing about Alabama. I, again, grew up in California, kind of moved all over. And Matt says, hey, I think the job I want is at UAB. And we came here and toured it, and he was sold. He was like, you're going to love it here.
Yeah.
There's been very few times in our life that Matt like insists, this is what I think we should do. He would never, ever tell me this is what we're doing.
Right.
But like I've learned to trust his instinct and be like, if you really think this is a right path. So I didn't want to leave Ohio. I cried like a baby. I was probably also just like postpartum.
Yeah. Cincinnati's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we lived in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
Also cool.
I thought you said Cincinnati.
We did. I drove
Yeah,
Cincinnati
okay.
Marathon. Cincinnati's really rad.
Yeah.
Love Cincinnati.
I have some friends who are up there, so I've been up there. I haven't been to Columbus though.
It's great too. It's very similar.
Okay.
We would have lived there, either of them, if we could have.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the cards. We would never. Now looking back, this is where we need to be. This is like home. By the time I had to leave the family that had become my family that I was nannying for, I started with those girls. They were like 6 weeks. They were twins, little babies. I didn't know what I was doing. I was learning with them, and they started kindergarten the week we moved here. So it was just like a perfect, there was a plan. Anyways, we moved here, moved to Forest Park, the apartments, the Park 35 ones.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Yeah.
It was kind of amazing. And
it's one of the best parts of town.
Love it. Everybody said you don't want to live in this part of town. And
they were all
we
wrong.
adamantly were like, okay, well, we'll see what we'll decide for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we rented, and then within 6 months found our house, like literally walking distance, because we said, how close to this street can we meant to be? But as far as running, I finally was like recovering from having a baby. We, were settling in here. Lived here for about 2 weeks, and there was a race out at Ruffner, and I hadn't raced since I'd had Finn. Finn was 9 months old, and I did that race, and it was my first trail race. I had a pair of Nike road shoes and like no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was shaking like a leaf because I felt like everybody there seemed way cooler. And I was like, what is happening? The Butts, the Birmingham Ultra Trail community, put it on. So cool.
All those guys I was talking about are all part of Butts. Yeah.
They're all really fun. Yeah. I mean, I don't do as many of the group runs as I'd like to.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the races, but it's just logistics. Like, I'd rather be out
it's really
here.
hard to get out there. Yeah.
So I do a lot of the races. I know a lot of them through racing. But ran at Ruffner, and I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. Like, love running, but it intersected with adventure and pace is thrown out the window because it's all relative. You're running on super technical or climby or all kinds of things. And I met people that were like the raddest people I've ever met. And
So what made you choose a trail race?
So my brother actually had been training for his first 100.
Okay.
He's a runner. He's 8 years older than me, and he lives in New York.
Okay.
So he was like, I think you should do trails. He knew I was kind of resetting from everything. And he was like, listen, there's some really cool trails where you're heading. I'm actually looking at this race called Pinhoti 100, which I think was all his plan. He's like, let's get Ashlie on the trails. She can help pace me, which is what you do in ultras, certain ultras. And I was like, I don't know. So he said, there's this race. It's at this place called Ruffner Mountain. And I think he signed me up or made me sign up. He didn't come, which was fine. I don't know why I thought he was coming. Maybe he intended to. Mm-hmm. But he lives in New York. And it was an 8 and a 19 or 8 and 16 mile race. So I showed up and I did it, and it was I fell in love, and I fell in love with Ruffner.
Yeah.
It's such a magical place. Yeah. It's my favorite. And then it evolved. It was I didn't know there was something. I knew he was doing 100 miles. I knew they were a thing, but I didn't really know anything about beyond a marathon.
Yeah.
But then some people that I met there, one of my good friends, Jen, she and I started running. Her husband, Chris, was running ultras and getting ready to train for 100. And then, kind of gave me all this information and insight and was like, let's go do this race called Barely Ultra at Red Mountain. Mm-hmm. It's literally it's barely an ultra. So it's 27 miles.
Yeah.
And
that's actually really funny.
Really fun. It's a great first because it's 2 loops, I think. You get to do an ultra and test things out. That was really fun. We ran the whole thing together and became the best of friends. And then from there on, it was, what's next? Like, what's bigger than this? I signed up after did a few races, I think 50 miles. It progressed quickly.
Yeah.
As things do.
Yep.
And I was like, well, let's do a 50-miler. And pretty quickly, I remember, I don't know where we were, but I said something to my husband. I was like, he's like, I know you want to do a 100-miler. Like, it's coming. Like, so I was planning to do this race called Lake Martin 100. And it was March of 2020. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
But then David Tosh, who runs Southeastern Trail Series, said, like, let's do a remote option, as everybody was doing. Do your race wherever, and you can send me the GPX file, and I'll give you a buckle or whatever.
Right.
I was my first, so I was like, I don't think I'm going to do the 100. He said you could drop down any distance. So I went out to Ruffner and did 50 miles just by myself. And, like,
holy cow.
So I remember being like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I didn't know what to eat. I didn't know what to do. Finish that. And then actually, like, the last 3 steps, I realized I actually still had another stress fracture. But I finished it, and it was fun. And then
running by yourself is a different beast.
Yeah.
Versus doing it with a friend.
Yeah.
It's just so much harder.
It's a mental game for sure.
Like, my marathon, I was supposed to run it with my best friend.
Okay.
And then he got sick, I think, like 3 weeks out. And so he dropped his down to a half. He just did the half.
So you get to say goodbye, like, halfway through?
Literally. So we, like, the first 10 miles were together. And then I'm like, all right, see you in, like, 2 hours.
It gets real quiet.
And it was through Gulf Shores.
Okay.
Through the state park. And so it was on pavement, but it was similar to a trail race in the sense that you just, like, go off by yourself. And it's just quiet because you're just running through the woods, even though it's on asphalt.
Right.
And, like, miles probably 18 through, like, 21 or 22 were brutal. And then there's this corner you turn, and, like, your family and everybody's cheering you on right there because that's one of the last, like, little aid station stops before you, like, run the last 4 miles. And so everybody's cheering me on, and my pace dropped so much. I was, like, in maybe the low 10s, high 9s, and I had gotten down almost, I think I had 1 mile where I went into the 12.
Okay, join
and
the
I
club.
was just like, ugh. And this random guy runs up behind me, and he's just like, man, that's quite the, cheerleader crew you got there or something like that. And turns out he's, like, from Hoover, like, my age. He's, like, a year younger than me. And we end up running the last, like, 4 miles together. And basically, like, I mean, when you're like that far into a race, you're just like, everything's on the table. So he's like telling me his whole life story. I'm telling him my whole life story because we're just trying to not think about how much our bodies hurt.
You guys are broing out.
Yeah.
So
And I literally I haven't seen him since that day, but we talked like we were going to, like, be best friends when we got back, and it just didn't happen.
You still Strava best friend.
Yeah. I still talk to him on Strava and, like, Instagram sometimes. But anyway, that, like, genuinely saved my race. Just, like, I would have finished, but I would have finished, like, crawling across the finish line. And because I had someone to talk to, I just, like, you can just talk and forget that your legs hurt so much. Yeah.
But, like, multiply that in any distance. Like, that's where I got to know so many people. And you truly, it's trauma bonding. And that sounds very privileged to say because we signed up for the dang thing.
Yeah.
And we're out there eating candy and, like, goofing around. Like, to just be like, oh, this is so much trauma. But, like, truly, like, if you're out there with somebody for sometimes, I mean, multiple hours, days sometimes, your conversations get really intimate. Like, you get to know a lot of things that, like, I probably wouldn't tell some of my closest friends because you're walking, while you're running, you're not looking at each other. Yeah. You're just verbally word vomit.
Speaking out into the world.
Yeah, like,
and
oh
someone
my
happens
gosh,
to be there
I'm talking
with you.
about things from my childhood that I don't remember very much. I'm just, like, bringing fun things up, and sometimes you realize you have more in common. And I think that's something I love about ultras. I love running by myself because I get to do that to myself. I get to listen to podcasts. I get to listen to music. I get to listen to nature, or just, like, meditate. But like in a race, I'm always like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to be like in my zone, especially if I want to race. But inevitably you make like the best friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you may never really talk again, but you'll give each other kudos and
Right.
be like, I'm so proud of you. You did that.
Exactly. That was another thing I was going to ask. What do you listen to, or do you listen to while you run?
It varies. I love podcasts. So I listen to y'all. I listen, little plug, listen to a lot of running podcasts.
Yep.
I love to like nerd out and be like, oh, this is what so-and-so's doing. I also love, I've been listening to, is it Lonely Island? It's SNL, and it's like Andy Samberg and like a bunch of the guys that like early on, and it's all about the sketches and how they created them. So we've been listening to that, literally laughing out loud.
Super fun.
Laughing my butt off. So it just depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Books, and music. But sometimes I'll just turn it off and just be by myself.
Yeah.
I also really love, like, in a race or when I'm running by myself on a long run, like, I call it trail karaoke. I'll just turn on, like, a really great hype playlist and then just, like, kind of sing to myself. And I'm sure there's people that pass by like, this lady's crazy, but it like gives you that like just like talking to somebody. All of a sudden you're like, this is fun. This is kind of freeing. And I have terrible singing voice. I have no business doing karaoke of any sorts. I love it. It's great. But so all of the above.
Yeah. When does 100-mile race come along? Have we gotten there
So
yet?
it's supposed to be 2020 March. That little stress, I think it was more of a stress reaction. Fracture, couldn't remember. Did quick healing with that, and then did Pinhoti 100 in November of 2020.
Okay.
So I got to do that, which I think it was meant to be. That was the race I wanted to do first. I was just being impatient, and March was sooner than November. Mm-hmm. But my brother, the year before, maybe 2 years before, had come out and done. So he had attempted a few hundreds. He said, will you pace me? And that was my first, like, crew pacer situation. And I went out and did, like, 40 miles with him in the middle of the night and saw things I, like, was, like, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I finished. I was like, well, I did 40 miles. Like, it was slow. We were not moving super fast.
Yeah.
And that's not because he was slow. It's just, like, that's what a 100-miler looks like at the end. And I was like, that's super cool. So that definitely lit the fire. And that was then I was like, well, this is the ultimate goal. Like 100-miler is going to happen. And then from then on, I realized like I am not, like I said, I'm not a fast runner. I'm just like pretty, I think, psychologically driven by like hard things.
Yeah.
So I realized I could just keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe not fast. But then it was like, we could do like 100-milers and like be okay at it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like I'm not fast. I'm stubborn.
See? That's all. That's all.
Like, I just don't give up. I won't stop.
You come to the dark side, Myers.
But that's the funny thing. Like, this is such a funny sport because, like, these 100-mile, any ultra races, like, you don't get the glory of, like, you know, you ran Boston and came in third, or like you don't get any of the glory that a lot of other, not just running, but athletic things in general get. You're just in this like tiny little group of people who like this insane thing that's unbelievably difficult. And you like barely even get any like recognition for it.
Have you seen the finish lines?
It's like a rope. And then there's like a few people and they're like ringing bells and it's like whatever.
Lucky, people will be there. And if not, it's your crew and like the RD and like there's people. But it's like try as they might.
It's not London Marathon that has like 100,000 people watching you finish.
No, you finish.
It's like 30 people.
And you're like, should we grab breakfast? I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like, I want to like take my shoes off and sit in the grass. I don't know, but I think that's why I love it, is because it is so anticlimactic. It's not about, and it's such a cliche, it's not about the finish line. It's about all that it took to get to that point. And I think that that's where it's like kind of the inverse of I mean, I think a marathon is like that too. Somebody told me early when I was doing marathons, like, it's about all the training it took to get to this point. And that's the race. Yeah. And I think I carried that with me because I remember that 26.2 being like, this is a celebration. Like, we're here. This is the fun part. This is not the challenge.
Yeah.
But it's just magnified.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you balance this? Because you have like a job and a family and a child. Like, how do you do all of that and run?
A lot of creative calendaring, like moving pieces. I'm lucky that I have a job that I do a lot of remote work, but also just getting creative with time.
Yeah.
Like, it helps that Matt's a cyclist, so he values his exercise, his activity, his training, and I value mine, and we value each other's, and we try to support each other a lot in that way. It is not perfect, though. Yeah. There's a lot of times that it's like, well, I need to get this in, you need to get this in, and then we're trying to do that. We're constantly saying, like, we're on the same team. Yeah. Like, he is my biggest fan, I am his, but sometimes we got to support each other and lean into that. So, it's a lot of like dropping Finn off at school, running over and getting a workout in, and then going and doing a meeting or doing something like that. Sometimes we have to get more creative and do really early or stuff like that. But.
Yeah. Running's been really special to me because, so I have cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
Which is, it's a genetic disease, so it's just informed like every part of my life for my whole life. And it's a long, crazy story, and God healed me and all of this stuff, but I do still have cystic fibrosis. And so that primarily affects my lungs. And so I've always valued exercise because from an early age, I knew I needed to take care of myself. Mm-hmm. And it's really funny because I hated long distance running when I was a kid. I did track and I played soccer and I did all that kind of stuff. But all the long training days, like go to the track and do your workouts and get your 5 miles and then your sprints, whatever. Like, I hated the long stuff. I just wanted to run like the 100-meter dash. And then I really don't know. No, I do know where it came from. So I started playing soccer. I stopped in middle school because I was like, I don't want to play travel ball and like not have a life and just play soccer. I didn't want to do that.
Intense stuff.
And so in college, I picked it back up doing intramurals, and I love playing soccer. It's so much fun. And it's how I rolled my ankle, so it's why I'm not running right now. But I joined a men's league after I graduated because it was a bunch of the same guys who were playing intramurals in college. Mm-hmm. And we played out at Sacred Hollow.
Okay.
And so that's like some of the biggest fields in the entire state. They're massive fields.
So big.
And playing 90-minute soccer on a massive soccer field when you don't really do much other cardio is not really a good recipe. And so I started running to stay fit for soccer.
Okay.
And then I kept running and I started upping my mileage, and then it turned into I run and then sometimes I play soccer.
Every now and then pickleball
it's
too.
Like I play soccer once a week, but I run like 5 or 6 times a week. So
where do you run typically?
My favorite thing about running is that you just need a pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. And so I just run out my front door and go somewhere. And when I lived in Canterbury in Mountain Brook, that was awesome because there's like a loop for every length of mileage that you wanted to do.
And those sidewalks are in pristine condition.
The sidewalks are perfect, and you can like weave through neighborhoods and look at $1 million houses and look for expensive cars because I like cars. And so that journey eventually turned into doing a marathon because I think so. Steven, he hosts the podcast with me sometimes, and he suggested the idea of doing a marathon, and I was like, sure, because you don't really have to convince me to do something. Like if you ask me to do something, I say yes, and then I commit to it because I'm stubborn. And so we did the marathon. He ended up cutting it down to a half because he got sick, but we did the marathon. We finished, and my dad was like, really proud of me and really excited about it. And my parents were there and they were really happy about it and excited for me. And my dad decided to start running. And so my dad has now run 2 half marathons, and then we're doing his first full in December.
Let's go.
So that's my next race.
That is so cool.
So it's really crazy that like,
Dang, that's
it's
awesome.
funny that it kind of comes like in your 20s.
Yeah,
I feel like so many people find it then.
Yeah.
Like the people that I know who did track in high school, because I ran with a bunch of them, don't run anymore.
Yeah.
And I hated it when I was a kid. I think what we do when you go and run a bunch of miles at a trail or just around town, it's like a totally different thing than whatever track was, you know?
I mean, I think there's like I want to stay fit, and this is, again, free. So, I mean, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Then you
can buy a $60 or $80 pair of discount running shoes, and then you're good to go.
You can run outside. You can also like unplug, and I think
you can actually run barefoot, but
you can. That's obviously a big thing. I don't know that it's advisable, but you know, some people
do
love it, and I think more power to them. But I think, like, too, we don't get a lot of that in our life, and this is, like, unplugged. You're, maybe listening to something, but you're zoning out. Yeah. You can just be mindless. Yes, you're thinking pace. Again, that's why I'm selling you on trails. Not because you don't care about pace on trails. You do. Again, especially if you feel at all competitive with any way. Like, you're thinking about that and training for, improving that. But, like, it's just a mind, like, break from the chaos. And again, to plug Birmingham, like, so many outlets. You can do Vulcan Trail, which is like in between trail. You can do Red Mountain, you can do Oak Mountain, you can do Ruffner, you can do the Rotary Trail.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many options literally right out your front door. So pick your poison.
Yeah.
That's so cool about your dad, though.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me...
It's been great. Like, he didn't really have any kind of exercise thing that he was doing consistently for a long time, and this is the thing that stuck, and he's like lost a bunch of weight and gotten really fit and all that stuff.
And then to share that, because you have these like war stories that you're like, oh yeah, I'm this and that, and what are you
every time I see him
with?
It's like we get to talk about our training and stuff.
That's so cool.
It's super fun.
Wait, which one do you think you'll do? Did you guys say?
We're doing Memphis.
Okay.
It's gonna be a big whole family thing, because the race is either on or like the day after what would have been my grandfather's birthday, his dad, and he passed away a few years ago. So it's going to be like a really sweet Allen family thing to go run a race.
Oh, that gets me like emotional.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Really cool. Yeah. But I'm such a sucker for all this stuff.
Me too. So we're excited about that. And that one, because we're going to run it together, I don't know if I'll really go after a pace necessarily. But I'm going to run it with my dad.
Have fun and really like cool. Just capture every little moment of it.
Yeah.
Because, dang, that's pretty. My dad paced me I did a race in Ohio, which is, my parents moved to Ohio. Mm-hmm. And then there's these trails like 20 minutes from their house. And I did 100-miler where there was loops. And there was a section that was like maybe 6 miles. And it was really technical. So it was like a lot of climbing, a lot of vert. And I was like, this is a great one because the fourth loop, I'm going to be pretty like beat, hop on in, and like he paced me for that bit and was like, this is so rad. So I'm trying to convince him they do a trail marathon, and a lot of people go and hike it, and it's like you have 48 hours to do it or something. It's like, let's go do that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I love bringing people in with me, and that's fun. Pacers, crew. My nephew did his longest, he's in track and field and like super fast, but he had never done a half, and he paced me for over a half. In a night, like with a headlamp, and I was like, "This is so fun."
That's really awesome.
I know.
That's super fun. Well, okay, you did the Pinhoti Trail, the whole trail, and then set the record for any person of any kind running on that trail.
Yeah.
Tell me how that happened. Why did you do that? Because that is a really long race.
Yeah, it evolved really quickly. I did 100 milers, fell in love, and I was like, okay, I want to do a 200 miler, which is, again, natural progression. It's just, it's a very slippery slope. I'm going to warn you. And so I did I did Tahoe 200 and then Southern States 200, which is on the Pinhoti.
Okay.
Fell in love with it. Can you check that?
No, it's good.
Okay. I love the Pinhoti, like that trail. Have you ever been out there?
No.
Fantastic. Like if you want to do a hike or just fantastic trail run, huge fan. So I had done a lot of the trail. It's 351 miles. And it runs from essentially Blue Ridge to Weagofka, which is Sylacauga.
Yep.
And I had done.
So it comes down.
Comes down.
Okay, I thought it went up.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it depends.
I mean, I guess you could either do way, but yeah.
A lot of people have done it that way. So you can do an FKT north or south, depending on some premier routes. You have to do it one, or it's designated directions. But I had done about 200-ish miles of the trail, and just curiosity was like, what would it look like to finish that? How do I do that? And then I knew FKTs were a thing. But I didn't think I was like, that was just, it's a very different, it's not a race, but it is a race.
What is an FKT?
So it's a fastest known time.
Okay.
And it's like, there's a website. So they have them for like the Appalachian Trail, the PCT, any
The website
major.
is very like binary, old school, like old internet.
Yeah. And then you like submit a GPX file and then you have to like verify it. It's a very interesting world, and I had no idea how it worked, but I wanted to figure it out. And if I like put my mind to something, it's like, we got to do this. I called Matt and I was like, I think I texted him and I was like, hey, I just looked at the Pinhoti FKT. I think I could do that, like time for a female.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's do it. Like, that was about it. Yeah. He was like, that sounds fun. But he was like, give us the year. This is like November of 2024.
Okay.
I knew a friend, one of my friends, was pretty familiar with some of the different. So FKTs have 3 different categories. There's supported, unsupported, and self-supported. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go supported. Like, you can take any resources you want. The others are obvious, like less support or no support. So
what is no support?
It's like you can only take resources that are available to anybody on the trail. So down to like even an outlet charger, it has to be like at a public station. You have to carry everything with you. Whereas self-supported, you can like stay at a hotel. You can stop and get food. You can do whatever you want, but you can't have somebody physically be helping you.
Okay.
And there's very specific rules about how you do it. It seems very like grassroots and like, and it is, but it's very like you got to do it a certain
regimented
way to verify you did it right.
Yeah.
But supported is generally the fastest because you can have any resource you want, and I think more fun because you get to do it with people. Yeah. So Matt was like, let's go, but I want to give it a year so we can like properly prepare. And so it all kind of evolved from there, and we started planning. I made a lot of friends like in the process through races that were like, oh, I'd totally go out there and help you with it. Yeah. So then it became a big group effort, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was it like?
I mean,
how long is the trail?
So the rail's 351. Yeah. It took 5 days. I need to remember this better. 5 days.
How much did you sleep?
Not a lot. Like, it's getting fuzzy. I should probably refresh my memory. It was in October. It was like, I think it was under 10 hours, maybe 8 or so. I think it was like 7 or 8. Matt could tell you. No, yeah, probably about 8, because I think I did 3 hours one night, which was the longest, and then like a 2 hour and like a 1 hour type situation.
That's crazy.
And we rented. It was so cool because we rented. You know, people have these great camper vans, and they're like super expensive. And Matt was like, I think we should just get like a Enterprise van. We did, and it was completely gutted.
Yeah. I was going to say $50 a day or $20 a day or whatever it is.
I think we spent like maybe $400 total.
Yeah.
We ended up getting all of our mileage comped because they were a little behind on something, and then they found out what we were doing. They were like super great. They're like, oh, you can go for as long as you want.
Yeah.
Which is great because we would have gone over.
Yeah.
Lots of back roads. And so we got like all these like bungee cords and carabiners and like put everything, hung it up, made it like home. We put an air mattress in the back, put lights up. Matt had great sound system. He would like brew coffee in there and he's picky about coffee.
Yeah.
So he had it all set up. It was vibey.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So to answer your question, like, I mean, there was all kinds of emotions going through it, but like the end all be all was like, we both say like one of the coolest aside from having a kid and maybe moving across the country in a Tercel and eating Subway.
Yeah.
The coolest thing we've ever done. And it was the two of us because he's navigating and strategizing and driving with no sleep.
Yeah.
He was delirious.
It's crazy.
And we just had a bunch of friends out there that would hop in and like join in. And I think that like I am I'm a big time people pleaser. I am a fear of rejection. I hate asking for help, especially on my behalf. Like, but like to do this, not only did I need people, but I wanted people with me.
Yeah.
And it was really neat to be able, I think the hardest part was the weeks before when I was like, so you said you wanted to help me, but like legit, will you come out into the middle of Georgia and meet me? And Myra's like, people were like, these are just people, like some of my very best friends were like, oh, 100%. Like took time off work, showed up with all their food and ran for 24, 48 hours with me and encouraged me and did really phenomenal things to help. But that was humbling because I just don't, I'd rather do it by myself and be like, it's nobody's business.
I understand.
But it wouldn't have been the same. Yeah. It was not about me. It was about like everybody joining forces and being like, we're going to do this dang thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to get male and female record.
Yeah, you are.
So it was so fun.
What is your relationship with failure like?
Yeah.
Because you've said you like running because you like the challenge of trying to do something that's difficult that you might fail at, but you also said you don't like rejection. No. You don't like...
No. I think that's a very fine line because I probably would do some pretty dark things in order to not fail, but I failed for sure in many occasions. And different races that like I've had times where it's like, this is just not happening.
But a lot of people don't try.
Yeah.
Because they're scared of failing.
It scares me so much. Like I think sometimes takes over where I have such a fear that I think the fear pushes me. Like I can't fail. I can fail. Yeah. And I will fail. But I so don't want to fail that I will keep running in the middle of the night when I think that somebody's probably out there going to murder me, or there's snakes or spider webs, or like I haven't seen anybody forever and I'm walking in a circle because I'm like, well, I can't stop. Like that's just not really an option. And that's it is unhealthy. And I recognize that. I probably need to discuss that more with somebody professionally. It's not healthy. But it also, like, the coolest thing is I told Finn, that my son, that when I dropped him off, his grandparents were here, and like I dropped him off at school. He knew what was going on. He'd been on the trails with us, like planning, scouting, all the stuff. He's like, I'm so excited to see you at the finish. And I was like, Finn, there is a very high likelihood this is not going to happen. Like I am going to try to get to the end. I don't think I'm going to get the record, but I'm going to try my darndest. Like, and I said, like, there's a high likelihood I'm going to fail, but I'm going to go out there, like, swinging with everything I have. And I truly thought that. I think that I knew I was capable of it, but there's so many things that could go wrong. Weather, injury, getting lost, something happening.
Yeah.
So I recognized that. But I think internally it was like, we've got to just go for it. And I think that's something that I when you experience success in the middle of something that you're like, I don't think I can do this, but then I still do it, it's like addicting. Because you're like, well, then what else can we do? Like, if we did that, like, what other things am I not doing? There's probably a lot. And I might fail doing those, probably will. There's going to be something that's going to come up, and I'm like, that did not go the way I'd hoped.
Yeah.
But it makes it exciting to try, and I think when I was younger, it would just be like, well, I'm afraid to try. Let's not try. That's scary. I would not be good at that. I can't do that. When I'm a girl, and girls don't do those things. And two, like, I'm not an athlete. I don't think that's going to be a thing for me. And like, I wouldn't recognize myself 20 years later to be like, yeah, let's go run in the woods for days.
Yeah. Have you wrestled with that? I don't want to call it juxtaposition. The perception of what you think other people might think of you as an athlete who is a female. Have you wrestled with that?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, especially early on, you get and this is nothing against guys, but you get a lot of guys that like want to explain to you what you can and can't do, and think that it's more dangerous because I'm a woman. There's that, it's maybe inherently a little more dangerous. I don't know. I don't know that it is. I think women are smart and think fast on their feet. And like,
I also think once you get to those miles, like, it's just dangerous for everybody.
Like, honestly, I'm really not worried about like somebody in the woods. I probably should. It's more of like nature and like what elements are going to get me. Right. But yeah, I think it's gotten a lot better. I mean, there's baller women. Rachel Entergen's from here. Just dominated Cocodona 250, and she's way cooler. You should have had her on here. So
I didn't know she was from here. I actually don't know who she is, to be honest.
She's way cooler than me.
I'll have you back, and then you can help me interview her.
She's probably harder to get now. I'm just down the street.
Yeah.
But I think that now there's a lot of like, wow, women can go further and they can do all these things. But I think even when I was starting, it's just a lot of like, well, that's dangerous. Also, you don't know what you're doing. And I don't think it's an intentional mean. It's like, let me tell you how this should be done.
Right.
But what's really fun is that, like, generally speaking, the guys are going to go out really hard. And generally speaking, the women are going to be smarter about it. And then you get to do that, like, I'm singing, Olivia Rodrigo as I'm flying past this guy in the last 5 miles. And he's like, my toes hurt.
Yep.
And you're just like, your toes hurt. We're about to finish. Like, let's just get it over with, buddy.
Yeah.
So but it's not always like that. It's just, there's some, I mean, most of the people out there I had were guys helping me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's an interesting dichotomy of girls, guys.
Yeah. Running is blown up.
It has.
Like, everyone is doing it, and everyone's starting run clubs and stuff.
Run clubs. They're, like, such a thing.
Yeah. Do you feel like an OG? Are you, like,
No.
Are you excited about that? Or are you, like, I've been here, guys?
No. I think the more people out there doing what is good for them, finding a solution to boredom, scrolling, like getting out and like enjoying fresh air. I think also rising tides raise all ships. So the more people doing it and working harder, the harder we all work, ultimately for the best. I don't think there's anything about it that's not positive other than like, I think growing pains of general sports. I love that ultras always feel very grassroots and
I think that they're going to stay that way. I don't think there are very many people that are going to go that far. A marathon's hard enough.
I've seen it grow, but yeah,
that's fair.
It's true. It's true. It's still going to look like peanut butter and jelly and M&Ms and like Coca-Cola that's flat from a big 2-liter on a picnic table, and you just show up.
Yeah.
So it's grown, but it's subjective for sure.
Yeah. I think you'll just have to run further.
Yeah, that's just
and then the further that you go, the less people are
the less people are in there.
500 miles is the next number.
I know. There. You just watch. It's just crazy how much people are just like, oh, they say like 200 is the new 100, which is so annoying when you're like, what the heck? I just did something that like this a marathon. Like the percentage of people that run a marathon is, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you now. It's small.
Like it's less than 1%.
Small.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what the heck? I just did.
And then you're like the 1% of the not even 1% of people if you go do the 100 miles.
But it starts to feel normal, and then you start to get, I mean, I do this all the time, imposter syndrome of like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not, there's nothing special about this anymore because people are doing it. And it's really about how you feel about it. I think it's about like your own victory or your own success, whatever that means to you.
Yeah. A lot of people are getting into running now. And health, I feel like generally is like a trending topic, which obviously is a good thing.
For sure.
Net positive by far.
For sure.
What have you learned in your journey trying to figure out how to appropriately take care of yourself while training for crazy stuff? Because I feel like a lot of people like myself are trying to find that balance of like, I started weight training recently.
Yeah.
Never really done that too much before. So I'm learning about like protein intake and how to like build muscle and do things like that. So what have you learned? Because I know you said that you struggled with that a lot at first.
Circling back, it's like you just have to eat.
Yeah.
And that sounds so silly and simple. And especially when you look at what you're eating in an ultra, it's nothing great for you. Like
M&Ms and flat Coke.
Best case scenario, you're eating like gels, and those are not healthy for you. Like, and then the amount of gels you're eating is not healthy for you. And like, depending on the event, then it's like, I mean, again, pizza, it's not like the worst thing for you, but like, I mean, out on the FKT, it was like, at one point Matt brought me a king-size thing of McDonald's French fries, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. It's not like healthy for you, but it does the job. And so I think that learning that 90% of the time I have to fuel my body before and after run, and it's usually good, healthy, good, good protein,
right?
Lots of good carbs, and all of those boxes. But I think for me, it's been getting over this like stigma of, well, I gotta like look this way to be a runner, and I need to have like this like it's about getting food for fuel. Like it is literally, and I've seen how much it affects your mindset and also your just how well you can run. Like if you're not eating, you're not gonna have the energy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a lot of it. I think there's a lot of like supplements and like things like that you can get into like the nitty gritty of, but overall it's like fueling the engine that's going to get you across whatever that line is.
Yeah. I've wondered about fuel during race.
Yeah,
are there like healthy things? Because I like I've done, what do I do? Like gummy bears.
Yeah.
I don't really like gels. I like those wafer things.
Oh, like Stroop waffles.
Yeah, Stroop waffles. I do those. I drink like
Stingers.
Element. Yeah, Stingers.
Mm-hmm.
Element is one of my favorites I like to drink.
Element.
Or just like Powerade or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I do eat pretty healthy outside of races and stuff, it feels weird that like you do all this like crazy training and then you go do the race and then you eat like terrible stuff for you because you're just trying to get straight sugar or whatever.
I mean, you can talk about like wanting to brush your teeth. It's just
yeah.
I think that's usually my approach. Like generally speaking, I'm eating healthy. Like But like, I guess maybe it's eating healthy, but eating enough of that healthy food, right? And sometimes that's going to look different day to day. But in a race, it is going to, I mean, you could eat bananas, I suppose. Like that's a good.
I've tried doing fruit and stuff, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't hit as quickly, I think.
I don't know. Just treat yourself. Eat the Nerds clusters. Those hit real well. I mean,
I know it's not as big of a deal in the race, but I've tried to find those like healthy alternatives, and I just haven't really found anything,
Speaking of Born to Run, you said you haven't read it yet.
No, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He like talks about, I want to call them, and they were like something with a P, like I want to say
the like berry things that those people would eat.
Yeah, the Tarahumara Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like,
for context, this is a book about like there's this people group in Mexico who are like have this mysterious history about them of being like these ultra runners who run barefoot through the mountains in this like really dangerous part of Mexico. And the whole story is about like diving into their history and how that relates to like modern day ultra runners, and then trying to like it's a whole story, but it's really interesting. You should
They're
read
ballers.
it.
Like they're incredible like group of people, and they basically showed people what they should be doing. But they were eating, it was like chia seeds and like corn something, ground corn. Oh yeah, I went on a thing where I was like, I'm gonna make that.
Yeah. Figure out the recipe for that.
I did, and I thought it was gonna make me fast. I don't think it was any better than anything else. It just felt cleaner. And I do value that. I mean I eat occasionally fish, but I'm mostly vegetarian. And like I try to eat really well balanced, healthy stuff. But I just think that the balance is always going to be outside of training, eating what's good before and after, making sure you're getting that protein and the good carbs. But then everything else, it's like also you're running hard. Your body is like just needs all the things. So yeah.
What is the next race?
I'm doing High Lonesome in Colorado in 4 weeks, I think.
Okay, coming up.
Yeah.
Tell me briefly about, maybe not briefly, about training. Because you're telling me I don't have to run necessarily more miles versus how I would train for a marathon, but I would be running twice the distance. That doesn't sound right to me.
You take the marathon, and then, again, if you're running on the trails, you're going out to Ruffner, which is I do 95% of my training. I swear someday I'll probably haunt those trails when I'm dead. It's like my favorite place. But you're going out there, you're going to run a marathon. Your pace is not going to look the same because it's technical, it's rooty, you're climbing, you're descending. Everything is different.
Yeah. For context, for people who don't run, marathon training is usually like maybe 4 or 5 runs a week, and half of those are like just kind of running maybe 3 to 8 miles or something like that, and then you have a long run on your Saturday that you're slowly increasing, and then you have another run somewhere in there that's usually like a pace race type run where you're trying to like run fast and increase your pace.
You got it, Myers.
So that's marathon training, but it's different for trails.
It's different for trails. Yeah. Well, think of it like it's very much the same format, but you're not as focused on exact pace. It's more like I do all my training based off heart rate. So I'm like paying attention to that. But also like you're going to get a long run in, usually on the weekend, maybe 2 back to back. You're going to do some speed work maybe if that's something you're focusing on. For some people, it's like speed work is not a huge priority, especially if you have a decent foundation. But overall, I think what I mean when I say if you can do a marathon, it's like you're going to take that marathon pace and you're going to take it down a couple notches. And then you're just going to, so your body isn't going to be at that same level the whole time.
Right. So what heart rate are you aiming at?
So I do zones. Okay. So I have a coach and he does all that.
Okay.
And I just follow my training.
Gotcha. When did you start training heart rate? Because I learned about that, I think after my marathon. There's some guy on like YouTube who like makes videos about it or something, and one of the like Butts guys told me about it, and it like changed the way that I run.
It's really good. Honestly, I was nervous at first because I had never run by heart rate, and I was like, "Oh."
The idea conceptually is like you're supposed to run at what is it? It's like 150 minus your age or something like that. Like that's the number you should aim for. So for me, it's like 124 or whatever. And then you should just run at that pace. And then when you do your faster runs, you're running at like a slightly higher heart rate. And then over time, as you do that over and over again, you build what's called a foundation. And you get faster by like basically working out your heart and your anaerobic system to be able to move faster, but have your heart at the same rate.
Your training theory knowledge.
I'm trying to like, yeah, for anyone listening who's
really
not like a runner, I'm trying to give context.
If I had tried
But
to
that was
explain
like
that,
amazing.
it would not have sounded that
No,
way.
like that was so interesting to me to learn because like I was trying to run faster. I just didn't know how to like do that other than like have a run or two where I like try and push it or something. But it made it so much more like measurable. And like I'm so concerned about longevity and like being able to get up and run again the next day. Like I don't want to push it so that I can't run at some point. I want to do this for a long time and not get hurt as much as possible. And I feel like that was like one of the big unlocks for me.
It's such a goal. And if you're doing it, you're probably doing a lot of zone 2, which when you figure out what zone 2 looks like, you're like, this is it?
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty
That's a funny thing, too. It's like I was running in the, low 9s or high 8-minute range or whatever. And then I started running at heart rate and I was running in like 10:30. And I was like,
feel really...
I thought I was fast. I used to come out here and run these in like 8:30 miles. And now I'm like 2 minutes slower.
It is so humbling.
Yeah.
And then when you're on the trails, your heart rate's going to spike as you climb. So then you're like, well, I might as well just hike things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point.
That's also funny, too. You don't run the whole trail.
Yeah, you're going to, I mean, like...
Because on a marathon, you typically run the whole thing.
Yeah,
you can walk sections or whatever. But
some people do.
Yeah.
And more, like, that is absolutely okay to do in whatever setting, like, do the marathon however you want.
Just finish.
But traditionally, most people are going to run in most formats.
Yeah.
Trails, especially if there's big climbing and there's a lot of climbing, in the long distance, you got to save those legs. So you're going to be very careful how much incorporating hiking. So you do need to train some of that. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's a lot of zone 2, and then we'll do like some speed work in the middle of the week usually. But like when you look at the workouts, it's not anything fancy. As far as like my day-to-day stuff, some bigger volume, but it's very like slow. But the best part is when you go to do the race, and I'm not thinking about my heart rate anymore. For the most part, I probably should be like, oh, I need to manage. But I know myself well enough at this point as a runner to be like, I can rip the Band-Aid off and just go crazy and enjoy not thinking about it because your body's ready for it and knows what to do. Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest parts of running to me is how much I've learned about my own body and how to like listen to it. And again, like knowing... it feels counterintuitive thinking that like to push yourself, sometimes you need to like not push yourself. Like you need to take a break or like go slow or take a whole day off or something. But learning and listening to your body to learn how to do that takes a long time, I feel like. But I feel like that's kind of where you feel like I don't know. To me, it was when I started to feel like I really actually kind of knew what I was doing and I like felt like I could claim I was a runner, if that makes any sense at all. Like you can claim that you're a runner if you run at all.
It's true.
You can't. You should,
but
actually.
You feel it.
But you get this like confidence about yourself that you're like, okay, like
dang, we're born for this, right?
Yeah, literally. I feel like I'm like one with myself in a weird way.
It's very cool. And it's cool, yeah.
What has running taught you about God?
Like I said before, I think it's just a really meditative time for me. My husband tells me I like eat lunch standing up. I don't slow down. Except for nighttime, I'm big on bedtime, like 8:30, and I'm like panicking, so I'm not in bed. When I crash hard, but I don't slow down very easily. And when I'm running, even if I'm working hard or even if I'm like working through something physically, my mind gets to just breathe. And I think that's when I have the most like, again, meditative and intimate conversations with myself, with God, and just feel like very connected. Also, shameless plug for the trails, but like you're out in nature. And like, what is freaking cooler than being like, this was like made for us and we just get to wander around and enjoy it. And I feel like, I think it teaches me how dang creative he is. Like what, like the things I'm seeing, the bugs, the animals, the spider webs and, you know, intricacies of every little thing. And that we're intended to enjoy it and use it. And I think just his creativity and like that, I think it's very humbling.
Yeah.
To be able to be a part of nature and creation and see how small we are in the scheme of it.
Yeah.
And when running long distances, you realize like I'm one small part of this massive universe.
Yeah.
And I get to see part of it and it's barely the tip of the scale. So.
Are you going to run in Italy?
Yes. Matt has routes. So
my favorite.
So excited.
That's like, I've traveled a couple of times since I started running. And it's probably my favorite thing to do when I travel.
Best.
Because you're in a new place and you get to explore it in like such a real and intimate way.
Yeah.
Like you're just running through the streets of Budapest at like 11 p.m.
Amazing.
And like there's people out, you know, at the bars or whatever, but it's quiet by the water. Like it's just...
But it's like a common language too. Like everybody, you could see another runner or you don't see another runner, but it's like, I got it. Like we're connected somehow.
Yeah.
And you get to see it at double time, maybe triple time. I don't know, from walking, like, or, you know, driving. But you see it too fast driving. Walking, it's too slow. So just like throwing shoes on and doing it.
Yeah.
Hands down my favorite thing.
It's so much fun.
I'm obsessed. But the problem is, you know, there's a lot of things you want to do. And you just got to balance that with life and family and friends and community. So do my best.
Yeah. Where can people find you? Do you want people to find you?
People can find me. I'm not that thrilling though. I'm not very good at posting. I'm on Instagram.
I guess I want to ask about that too. Like you could build a following around this. Do you think about that?
I think about it.
Because people are interested in what you're doing. They're interested in the idea of what you're doing and would be interested in you. I'm interested enough to interview you.
I think I'm just doing just kind of boring things. So it's hard to sell. Like, it's hard for me to believe that somebody would be interested in any of that. I more or less like to be a resource. Like, if you enjoy this, I could literally, like what we're doing right now, could do it till it's, 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Because I love it and it's exciting and I love to learn about it. And I like to, explain it to people, but also get their input, learn from them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't think I'm that fun, but I do have an Instagram. It's Ashlie Ithurburn. And then I have a Substack that I wrote for the FKT.
Cool.
Which gives all of the fun details. And I was like, I'll do this for other races. And I've done 2 races since and I haven't touched it. I probably will at some point because it's more or less my way of writing.
Yeah. I
like to write in creative format like that, but I don't take a lot of time to do it. So it's good for me to look back and be like, that was really fun. And hopefully when I'm older and still running on trails, but doing it in a different format, I can look back and be like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened because you forget.
Yeah.
So.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this, Ashlie.
Thanks, Myers.
This is really
good.
fun.
I'll see you on the trails.
Yeah.
You'll
get me out there. I'll get out there. I'll do something.
Awesome.
All right. Cheers.
Okay.